Hello and welcome to another edition of Hot Seats on Dele. I am Moses or Jewumi. This is a program where we interview those that have reached the pinnacle of their career, those making waves as far as their profession is concerned. And today, my guest is a pivotal player in Nigeria's business landscape, where he has many feathers on his cap. Right now, he is the president of the Nigeria Association of Chambers of Commerce and Industry, Mines and Agriculture, NASIMA, and also the president of the Organized Private Sector of Nigeria, OPSN. I'm talking about Honorable Dele Kelvin Oye. You're welcome to the show, Honorable.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks for joining us. But let's get to see his profile right now. And when we come back, of course, we start with the interview. Stay with us. And that was the profile of my guest today, Dele Kelvin Oye, the president of NASIMA, and also the president of Organized Private Sector of Nigeria. So let's talk business. You're welcome to the show once again.
Thank you.
Lots, everything around you. I must also establish that you're a legal, practitioner, but everything around you, tilts towards business. My first shots, what are your projections in 2025? Still early in the year, basically, because there have been several projections I could recall in December. Some said Naira could go as high as 2,000 Naira, or per dollar. Though there's been some level of appreciation, but is this temporary?
First of all, thank you for the opportunity. When you say projection, we are not in the business of trying to guess, but what we should look at the current realities. The biggest problem we have generally is that most of the budgets, both at the state and federal level, have a whole lot of sufficient deficits. What that creates at the federal level, almost about 13 trillion deficit, out of a budget of now 54.5 trillion Naira, is that it creates an issue of sustenance. Because those who are intending to invest in your economy, if they observe that you're not able to pay for your goods and services, it's not like a man that is a debtor. It does affect some of these fundamentals. So what the central bank has tried to do is to manage the process by using various monetary policies to manage the process. We have seen a considerable increase in the value of the Naira lately, especially from mid-January. And it has been appreciating. And I think we are doing almost about, at the NAFEM rate, is about 1,400 plus, which is a very huge relief to we businesses. Because most of our challenges in every sector has to do with the value of the Naira. It has been a major driver of the inflation. And if we have a more stable Naira, it will naturally affect the outlook. While we are seeing some positive signs now, but it's too early for one to say that will be how we will end at the end of the year. Because we still have to see how the government intends to manage its deficit. From the business angle, our position is that if you intend to have a sustainable economy, you must provide a considerable enabling environment. This means you should have issues of regulation, where all of us are overregulated, the issue of tax burden. Almost all the sectors of the government are taxing, from the federal, state, local government. They all employ consultants to see how they can maximize taxation. If they move from taxation to trade facilitation, I think there will be more good outlook. That's what Nasima is fighting for, that we should all work together to have a sustainable system by which we can manage budget deficits, not necessarily through over-taxation or more increase in any form of government collection, but rather provide an enabling environment.
Yeah, well, the tax reform bill is coming. But before I delved into that, you mentioned one of the positives that, yes, the Naira has appreciated. But how significant is the appreciation? Because a whole lot goes on in the parallel markets, and there seems to be this disparity. So it could be 1,400 at NAFEM or NAFEX, but still 16, at the parallel markets where many people go to source, for forex.
December, we're going to 17. Early January was over 17. If from 17 the parallel market is going down to 16, that's a lot. What we're looking for is to have a sustained effort to keep it that way. So I think so far we're happy, but we are not comfortable. We still want to come down. Our projection for business to thrive is for it to do around 1,000 to 13. So if it can go further down, if the central bank working, and the government too, ability to control its spending, I think business will thrive. And a lot of people that left will be coming back. People are already very happy with the positives. You can see all the problem we have with the electricity tariff, problem we have with the telecoms. It's the Naira that drives. You can even see in the oil sector, petrol, that the price is falling. So what we need to do is to work on the Naira. When I say work, I'm not saying we should have an arbitrage or just have something that is artificial. It is through the type of spending. If government can reduce its deficit, naturally, the Naira will continue to appreciate.
But this appreciation, why is not translating? Why is not reducing the prices of goods and services? Because from 18, 17, 16, and you go to market.
If you go to the market, the people will tell you, oh, we imported at the old rate. That's a challenge. But unfortunately, if the Naira is appreciating, they immediately reflect it. When it depreciates, they immediately reflect it. When it appreciates, they say, oh, it's our old stock.
Yeah, old stock.
But I want to encourage our members not to take advantage of all of us. We've all been through a lot, through the reforms. And we all need to play our role. And this is one of the reasons when we're at our meeting, some of you try to tell them to be more ethical, because we cannot all try to make money out of the current crisis. I think we all have a duty. We have a country to run. And if we want this country to grow, everybody must play its part, both the private and the public sector. And that's why we're preaching, that we should all work together closely and encourage our members not to take advantage of it.
Yeah, but the impression out there is, capitalists or manufacturers would always take advantage of the situation. So for those that won't listen, or those that have not even listened and that will never listen, is there any...
Perception is never always reality.
Well,
the Dangotes are dropping prices every day of the fuel.
But that is oil. Most times,
but it has an influence.
The international oil price is the one that drives reduction.
No, it's not. I'm not saying that.
When the international price went up, the price of petrol also went up. Now that it has come down a little bit, it has also come down.
I'm telling you, there are several factors that go into production. Naira is one of them, even though it's a major driver.
Yeah.
The oil is one of them. The price of electricity is one of them. Your infrastructure that's available for you to produce one of them. So all these all come together. What I'm saying is, what is happening takes some time before you can have a full effect. And the businesses need to also be sure that if they sell their inventory now at the current Naira price, maybe they're using today's, that when they are going back to the market, they will still have the Naira at that price. So if they watch first, just like someone trying to enter water, you put your leg first inside, you don't jump into it with your two legs. So what they're doing, they're observing. If they see sustainability, it stays like this for 1 month, then people begin to think this thing maybe probably is reality. We're all happy, but nobody's completely naked and trying to jump into the pool. So that's what I'm saying. So you take some time for it to cascade down from when you buy and sell. So, but it's part of our job as a business organization to encourage our members to reflect the current reality. And we are working closely now with the central bank. And the central bank seems to be doing the right thing.
Yeah, but the
Before now,
MPAR rates,
yes, they were
keep
supposed to
going up.
meet this week. They were supposed to meet this week. We are talking. We want to make sure that they don't push it up again. Because if they increase and try to drive up the distance, you also have effects on price of goods and services. Because if you are borrowing at 35%, there's no way we don't pass the cost. Companies don't pay tax. It's the people that pay tax. So you have to, what I mean is, if you impose tax on company, pass it to the consumers. So what they're going to do, everybody's still watching. The Naira is a major driver. Once it stabilizes over a period, I'm sure a lot of people will take the risk.
Well, we keep hoping that it stabilizes over a period of time. But when this administration was inaugurated, we saw two, policies. First, the removal of fuel subsidy, then the floating of the Naira. When the Naira was floated, we were told, oh, it will attract foreign direct investments. The floating is more like devaluation of depreciation of the Naira. But as that, worked?
Yes, let me be honest with you. I think the Naira is underpriced. And that is part of the problem we have. Like you've observed, the investment did not come. In fact, we have many companies leaving because of depreciation in Naira. Companies like MTN lost over 100 billion Naira last year due to currency depreciation. Under our current tax law, you cannot take that from your company when you're filing your tax returns as company expense. So that's why most companies were leaving, because they could not absorb the losses they were incurring. And most of these companies, over the years, they've had a lot of cash, but they couldn't remit it to their various countries. And whereas they have to pay tax and also issue dividend to their shareholders. So what it simply means that anytime there's a depreciation in the Naira, the hit goes direct to the company. So there's no way to absorb it. That's why a lot of those foreign companies, let's buy the Western countries. So I think the government made a miscalculation. We've always told them, we're a demand economy. We're not a supply economy. We don't have enough productive capacity to be able to produce everything we need in Nigeria. So if you depreciate our Naira today now, your oil price is internationally fixed. There's nothing you can do about it. We don't even have capacity to increase our non-oil exports. So if you are not a country that has huge industrial capacity, you have no benefit to get from depreciating your Naira. So we are using a supply economy idea to run our economy. So what you are having is like applying the wrong drug to an ailment, and you see the effects. It gives a completely different negative effect. So I think the government is listening now, and they have started responding. We hope they will not use this as an option. They themselves have put the current value in the budget for the 2025 budget at 1,500. It was 750 last year. So even the government is hoping we'll hope around 1.5. But we think it should still go further down, because there are a lot of goods that have been produced in Nigeria. People are not able to buy it. People are suffering because of the depreciation. When you depreciate your value of your Naira or your currency, everybody suffers. It's the highest form of tax. It causes inflation. It makes us poorer. And that's why people come from outside and buy all of us. When I mean buy all our properties and everything, because they don't spend less of their currency to achieve more in our own territory. So it's not favorable. All the investment that have come into this situation are mainly from the eastern part of the world. So and most of those investments are already emotional investment. They are targeted at certain strategies. They have nothing to do whether our Naira is at any rate or any. They will still come. So this is the challenge. So government has no business deliberately crashing the Naira. So we all have to work, create the confidence in the economy, reduce excessive borrowing, reduce the deficit financing. Government should spend less. In fact, there's a whole lot. If you look at the federal budget, 1/3 of it is to pay salaries. How can you sustain that? The only capital investment you have there is about 14 trillion. And 14 trillion is not enough in a 54 trillion budget. That is not enough to catalyze the economy and grow the economy. It's only production that we can have our way out of this. The more production we're able to create, the more capacity we create within the country, the Naira will appreciate. Everything will change for the better. That is why we are telling the government, give us an enabling environment. Make sure there's reasonable price loans. I'm not saying they should give us any handouts. We, as private sector last year, we paid over 20 trillion to the FRS as taxes. We paid another almost 6 trillion to the customer taxes, which means almost 50% of your budget, we generated it from the private sector. So what the government needs to do is to find out what we need to produce more. They should challenge us. Give us the enablement, give us regulation, have reasonable taxes, make your policies more predictable, have more stakeholders engagement. This economy will go. Our youth have already shown through the creative industry that we don't need too much from the government. All we need is the environment to prosper. So our Nigerians are one of the best entrepreneurs. They have the capacity. We have done things that have never been done in several parts of the world. The Dangote refinery was an EPC contract. From scratch, was built in this country. There's no one like it anywhere in the world. So what do you want from the private sector? We have shown capacity. So government needs to listen to us more so that we can change the ecosystem.
Okay, well, the 2025 budget has been increased to 54.7 trillion naira. I mean, how optimistic are you that perhaps this will lead to economic buoyancy? Some say, oh, this is not even enough. Looking at our population of over 200 million people, we're having a budget of 54.7 trillion naira. What would this drive?
Well, the first thing I'll tell you is that looking at the size of the budget and the activity in the private sector in Nigeria, you will observe that the government plays very little insignificant role in the life of Nigeria in terms of growing of the economy. The private sector is doing almost about 95%. But with that little chunk the government is doing, it comes with regulation, and it also has an impact to change the ecosystem. It can come in one fell swoop. So what that means is that the private sector is the main driver. The addition to the budget, while we don't know which source is coming, of course, the government has not disclosed to us, but the intention looks good. They said they want to invest the money in the Bank of Industry, and they also want to put some money in the Bank of Agric. If that is the intention, fine. But what is important is government does not have this money they are trying to increase to, because the budget already has a 13 trillion budget. So I would have been happier if that additional income was put to reduce the deficit instead of trying to spend more money. You can't spend your way out of this. If you're already a broke person, do you keep spending and borrowing from your friends? How would you be perceived? If you don't have money, you don't have. When you keep spending what you don't have, it creates further crisis in the entire macroeconomic sector. Because the people that are coming to invest in Nigeria look at how government behaves, how does the right sort of behave, what is the regulation, what is the legal system, is there law enforcement, or these are what they calculate. This is what they call country risk. So if our government continues in the middle of budget, you just dump another money there, and when you have a 13 trillion, what will expect you if you are owing, you pay down your loans first. So what we are saying in all this is, government cannot borrow itself out of this problem. The answer is productivity. What do we need? I represent the entire organized private sector, and my members are all saying, give us an enabling environment. Focus on the productive sector. That is the only sector that can grow the economy in a sustainable way. If you keep, the government is not involved in any economic activity. Our word of contract is not an economic activity. All the money IRS collects and everything is not an economic activity. To collect rent is not a production. It's just somebody just going to collect the money that already belongs to us. That is not an economic activity. Look at Egypt. The army there virtually dominates the economy.
But the contractors also are businessmen.
A word of contract, I mean. I didn't say the contractors. When the government awards contracts and waste money again to take a television advert to go and launch the project, it's all waste.
Well, there's an economy behind that too.
No, I'm not saying that if government does a road or anything, it cannot improve. That's improvisation. That's part of the environment, providing infrastructure. But government as a body is not the productive sector. Look at all, all the waste. Now look at, everything goes to salary.
Yeah.
That's a challenge. That can never grow because it's recurrent.
Okay. But now the tax reform bill is on the horizon, and they're talking about harmonization of taxes. Perhaps the government has listened to you and they want to make things right.
Yes. First of all, I must commend the committee. They did a great job in trying to harmonize, especially the subnational. The number of taxes that is being charged. So I say they're trying to bring it down to a reasonable level. But there are still issues that are standing in that bill. We're not happy when the subnational, the governors, increase it from 25 to 30 on the income tax rate. Because if you want to attract investment to Nigeria, you have to look at the environment which you operate. What are other countries like Ghana, Cote d'Ivoire, and everything are offering? Because if someone wants to do investment, this thing, you look at the map of the world. Nobody comes here to help you. Nobody's going to come from outside to help you. They will only come if they see you have a market, the environment is conducive, your tax system, law enforcement. These are things investors consider before they put their money anywhere. So that's why government should listen more to us. Everywhere in the world, the government goes to the private sector and say, what do you need to succeed? Yesterday, we paid a cousin called General Basojo. He told us how he was able to solve the problem of cement. That he went to Dangote and said, I see that you're always importing. Why do you keep importing? He said, because I make more money from importation. It's okay. If I ask you to change your, it's okay, make me make enough money like I'm importing if I decide to manufacture. That is how you grow economy. You must listen to us. We all have ideas. We have things that can transform Nigeria. And we are indeed working, even under the current circumstances. So the tax bill was being a huge effort to try to move us forward. Government mindset should not always be to collect. It should be trade facilitation. Even the tax system is a trade document. It's a document that should listen to the entrepreneur. It's not only experts in tax that write tax laws anywhere in the world. When the experts are finished, you now take it to the business and say, will this work? Will it make Nigeria more competitive? If I have an investment destination, will I go to Ghana or come to Nigeria? That should be the barometer with which we make laws in Nigeria. Not because we have the capacity to make law. If you make like that, no man is an island, people will leave. So that's been a huge effort. We are hoping, and also again, it's important they pass it on time, because we made the same mistake under the petroleum tax, the petroleum law, where we waited almost 14 years. All the investment left before we passed the law. So people cannot continue to wait. They need to know what the business decision they can make. And it's part of a major physical infrastructure for any investment to come to Nigeria. So there's still an issue of the free trade zone in that tax law, which we are trying to resolve. I think we've almost everything in place. So there's the free trade zone, so that they can look at it, look at what Ghana is offering, look at what our neighbors are offering, so that most of the companies in our free trade zone do not leave Nigeria. So this is all we are working with them. And we hope we can resolve this quickly and Nigeria can move forward.
So in terms of taxation, proper taxation of the organized private sector, are you saying it's uhuru with the tax reform bill if it is passed into law?
I don't know what you mean by uhuru. There is never uhuru in tax. Like I've said, you have to make your country more competitive than your neighbors, and even with investment climate in Africa, especially what we are doing under the FCTA now, where there will be free movement of goods and services. If the businesses here know Ghana is giving a better deal, some will leave. So that's why it's very important for our legislators to realize that when they are finally passing the law, I think that Attorney General is still coordinating it, they must look at our neighbors. What is Rwanda offering? What is Ghana offering? What is Egypt? What is South Africa offering? Because these are people that take our investments. So if you are sure, I'm not saying we'll have everything there, but what is important, let's have a competitive law that we as private sector in Nigeria can use to convince our partners abroad to say, come and invest the money here instead of going to other competing countries.
Okay, now you are close to the corridors of power. I could recall when Nigeria, the largest economy in Africa, we were so proud to say, giant of Africa. But right now, a fourth largest. We are behind South Africa.
You are fourth?
We are behind. We are behind South Africa. We are behind Egypt. But is it that the political class is oblivious of all this? When you speak to them, is that they are not taking your messages or what? Because I saw you with the Minister of Budget and Economic Planning the other time. In one of the interviews you granted, you say you have the ears of the Minister of Commerce, Trade and Investment. So when you tell them all this, or is it that there's no political will, just to ensure that Nigeria takes its pride of place?
First thing that cost us our position is the value of our naira. When your currency keeps crashing every day, almost everything, our stock market, the pricing, everything also goes down. We had no business crashing our currency. That thing pauperized all of us. You be like somebody stealing money in your pocket. Because as you are sitting here now, if the value falls, you are getting poorer, unless you have all your investments in FS.
Yeah, so it's confusion.
So where I'm going is, Where I'm going in relating to the question you've asked, the issue of rebasing of in 2014, we were 560 gross GDP for Nigeria. That's a 560 billion or whatever. But today, look at where we are. We have gone to 199. In fact, we are shrinking every day. Even our current budget is smaller than last year. So what it tells you is that the productive sector in Nigeria needs to be encouraged. Like I've told you before, government is not a productive sector. Our word of conduct is not a productive cycle. It's not involved in production. It's just a duty. So what the government needs to do, in fact, I can also tell you in Nigeria, most of the tax we collect is about 1% of people that pay it. I mean, the companies that pay it. All the big companies, the Dangotes, the flour mills, these are all MTNs. So you should go to them and ask them, what do they need to grow? This is the job of the government. This is the job. The government should be talking to me and say, Dele, we want to give you a target. What do you need to achieve it? That is all. Instead of doing that, the public sector think that the more allocations they get, they come and show me what they did with it.
But at times you go to them, just like the
No,
telecoms
I
went
won't
to
say
the
I don't have access.
that they wanted to increase tariff.
Yes, I just spoke on it and they dropped it immediately. I agree.
The government didn't allow 100% increase, but at least they sat down with them and said, okay, you can increase by 50%.
I know. The only reason for that is because of your naira rate. The depreciation. The problem you have in electricity, telecoms is all tied to the naira. If your currency, because you're asking them to provide the same service when most of their input is in FX. This is what I talk about our being a demand economy. All the things we need, we have to import it. So why would you crash your currency? Anytime you do that, you make it more expensive to provide services within your economy. So you have a duty to stabilize your currency and make sure it stays in one place. There are even some people who don't even come here until they are sure they can predict that by this time next year, this is what the naira will be. So there are a lot of speculation. That was how I did not want to take your bait by telling you, oh, the outlook is going to be nice or it's not going to be nice. I'm saying if the government keep doing the same thing they are doing, they get the same result.
Okay.
You have to change because if what makes you sick, you stay in that environment, you are going to get sicker. So government has a duty to work properly with us, work in an environment where we can all change this country. We have no any other country. I'm not happy that I'm no longer number one in Africa. It used to be our pride. So I want to go back there. We have relationship with government, we have this, but one minister cannot do everything. There has to be a complete mindset in the government. Everybody has to agree that I will behave like the Minister of Industry, or I behave like the Minister of National Planning. If only the two of them can never change the economy. They are not the one building the road. They are not the one providing electricity. They are not the one increasing the taxes. So what I'm saying is, we have access, we are engaged, we are talking. The government needs to talk more. We need to plan together. That's what I'm asking. If you want to grow this economy, you must plan with your private sector. If you're going to plan with the government alone, you want to do it alone, it's like building a hospital without having patients. How do you think you declare profits? So you must work with us. It's a partnership, and we are ready. It's our country. All of us have a duty to make it right.
And somehow, I think our economy is imports, driven, or imports,
So it's a demand economy, yeah.
So even those that are manufacturing, the machineries, everything, they still have to import, and there are talks about, can't we revive, Abeokuta, steel mill? With that revival, we can get the raw materials, we can build our own engines and all of that. But so if I could recall, I was speaking with the former Minister of Steel Development, then during Buhari, government, Adigbite, and he said, we are doing all it takes to revive the Abeokuta steel mill. How many years down the line we are still here? So we keep moving in circles. And one thing I've also noticed is that I think manufacturers are shrinking. People tend to go into hospitality business. I mean, that's not production. Build big hotels, and all of that, nightclubs, and they earn their money. So at this period, what are you telling the manufacturers?
Well, when you were talking about Abeokuta, you saw a small smile in my face. You see, when they appoint you to government, that doesn't make you an expert in any field. You don't suddenly become an expert because you are in charge or you are in charge of policy. If the government needs advice on how to revive Abeokuta, we have the formula. We'll give them the work.
You have the formula?
Yes.
There are talks of Abeokuta.
We have our members who are in that sector who know what is wrong with Abeokuta. What the government has preferred is to use their own ideas or rely on People who don't even know anything who come into Nigeria and try because they have white skin and the government believes in them.
But
there are Nigerians that are doing 1 million tons of steel in the Nigeria producing. So why do you have to listen to some other people who have no interest except profit? There's no way foreigner can grow this economy. We respect them. Whatever agreement we reach with them, we will agree with them because we need to encourage foreign direct investment. But the Nigerian must drive the process because Gowon gave us in 1973 indigenization. We've given it out now through foreign direct investment. Very soon, I think it was Kipewe that said that the colonialists are coming back as foreign investors. There's nothing for Nigerian business in any sector. Apart from the Artisanal Miners Act, we preserve a position for Nigerians. There is no law in Nigeria today. You can even open an NGO in Nigeria if you're a foreigner. So these are the things we are saying. I don't have the support. I don't have the support of my government. Every Chinese company in Nigeria here, they are fully funded and supported by their government. Show me which Nigerian business. See what Dangote is going through in the hands of NNPC. So what I'm trying to tell you, our governments must know their bread and butter is in partnership with the private sector. There's no way you can become an expert because you just enter government. No, you have to listen more. Even the doctor listens to the patient before he administers treatment. This is my government is not listening to me and he wants to do private sector. Even some of the government are even trying to become private sector. They want to even organize trade fair. Is that the business of government? You have not provided me security, you have not provided me water, you have not provided me road, you are not everything you are supposed to provide, you have failed me. And you are still coming, you want to come and do the one I'm doing. This is the problem. You don't know everything. Anytime you are not learning as a person, you are a failure. So government has to listen more and use our ideas to run businesses, not to try to be a businessman. You can see all the foreign direct investment they said they went for. They went to this place. They are announcing this. I went with them to India. $14 billion to announce. Show me one factory. That was 2023. Nothing has happened. So please, we should not allow anybody to play with us. We have people in Nigeria who have shown the world that we are good entrepreneurs. There is no way you go all over Africa, Nigerians are dominating. Why can't government use the same talent to develop Nigeria? Why do we have to wait? One portfolio person coming from another country coming to tell you when someone that has never proven anything anywhere in the world. People, if you come to my office and you tell me you want to do anything for me, I don't listen to what you are telling about the future. I want to know what you've done in the past 5 years. That's the starting point. So government has a duty to use our local talent to catalyze this economy. And I can tell you, I should expect government to be giving me mandate to say, Dele, what do you need at Nasima? If you tell me, I give you all this, you grow this setup to this. We should do it setup by setup. You will see that this country will transform. Until you start behaving like that, nothing is going to happen. We are going to end up in December the way we start.
But I want to believe you tell them all this. Like I said, you act as the corridors of power.
I'm telling them. I advise.
So what do they tell you?
I advise them almost on daily basis. We write more letters and try to engage privately. It is when they don't listen, we talk like this in public. I'm not saying they are not making effort. But what I'm saying is the effort they are making may not be enough. There's not enough coordination within the government to achieve some of these. Because some people are still writing tax. As we're talking, they're still trying to find a way to collect money from the dead businesses they have almost killed through over taxation. So this is why we must all sit down, we all agree what is our national plans for this year. When we agree on that, then now everybody will be given his own duty. And will also be given the resources to do it. I'm not saying government should give me money. No, I don't want handouts. We are strong enough to grow the economy, but give us the environment to grow it.
But some people say, federal government, cannot do this alone. It's not in the hands of federal government, to do all this. Even at the state level, there's a lot, that can be done. Is the state also trying to complement, federal government efforts? Because there's a lot federal government can do at the top, but if the state governments are also not, for example, we're talking about the harmonization of taxes, and we are still looking at the possibility, the workability of that, because we know some states, benefit from the multiplicity of taxes. So what's in for the state too?
You can see what happened with the tax bill when the states challenged the federal government and said it was not acceptable.
Northern
There
states.
was on all the states. They had a governors' conference. What did they do? They didn't consult us. 2 of them sat down and decided to increase the tax from 25 to 30 in the proposal. Who advised them to do that? Nobody. This is because they are in charge. Like I've told you before, what we are asking for, we're not asking for handouts. If we paid you 25 trillion last year in taxes at the federal level, we should have a seat at the table. I'm not saying I'm not a politician. I'm not saying I want to tell government how to do it. But government must listen to us to use our ideas to grow the economy. If you want that 25 trillion to be 50 trillion this year, tell us and give us an environment. That's what we're asking. We're not asking for handouts.
Yeah,
and we have ideas which you can use to bring down some of all these challenges. But they're not talking to us enough. That's what we're saying. Even Savidi are having the FS this now. Nasima is playing a signal role, I'll tell you. We are playing, but we don't have to blow our trumpet. We are telling our members involved to say, please, you have a duty to make Nigeria work. And they are all making the sacrifices. So government needs to listen more, have more stakeholders engagement, sector by sector. Stakeholders engagement, not the type they are doing, where the people they are regulating. If the CBN calls all the banks now, which bank can challenge CBN government? But since as a stakeholder there who's consuming some of the products, if I'm in that room, I can talk like this. But if a bank talks the way I'm talking to a CBN governor, his license will be withdrawn before he gets home. I'm not saying that's what they will do, but it runs that risk. So this is what we are saying. There should be genuine stakeholders engagement, more interaction. Our president visits abroad. He visits Chamber of Commerce. He has never been to any Chamber of Commerce in Nigeria. You think the white man you are going to visit don't know you are not visiting your own chamber. They write us. That was your president come here, they're going to say we are not aware. Because they don't tell us. So you cannot be a hypocrite outside and think you will be Jesus inside. So what I'm saying all this is, I know government is making efforts, but government needs to do more. More stakeholders engagement, carry us along. We are not involved in election, they've won. But if you want to grow economy, meet the people on ground, meet the people that have invested, find out what the challenges are. If the problem is the access road to the factory, make sure you give them one so that it will cost less to access this. If you go around this country, every factory, the road is not good. Go and check. Even trailers, when they enter inside, they dance Fuji. So is that how you want to grow the economy? These are people paying the taxes. They are the one paying the highest taxes. When you want to do road, you are doing 7 nylon tie in Abuja to people's houses who don't even pay anything, who are just because they are ministers or this. So you must, if you want to grow the economy, you must put the resources in the hands of people who are paying the taxes. I'm not saying handouts. You do things that will make them do more. That's what I'm saying. It's very easy.
Okay, now that the federal government is saying the Bank of Agriculture and Bank of Industry will be well funded, I mean, given the 2025 budget, how optimistic are you? Because if Bank of Agriculture is well funded, if Bank of Industry is well funded, then you manufacturers, you entrepreneurs can go to Bank of Industry to obtain loans.
How much? How much? We paid 25 trillion into the economy last year. So you are giving me a handout of less than 5 trillion. You also know even the money that goes to those sectors at times, the government will still put a mandate on who will get and who will not get. So what I'm saying all this is, government does not need to get around these things. All the government needs to do is to sit with us, we work with them. I commend them for budgeting for those institutions. In fact, it's overdue, especially the Bank of Agri. They've been asking to capitalize them for donkey years. So now that you have capitalized them, what are the access routes to the farms? What are the challenges of the cattle rearers who go into this? Today we're in the meeting, one of our members from Gobe said that they planted cassava, everything, they destroy it. It's not even, this is not a Fulani whatever problem. These problems are just simple issue of how we don't work together in coordination. If we know there are cattle in your state, the community or the people rearing the cattle should be able to have them as a stakeholders and let them know these areas are for farmers, these areas you can go to. So if you coordinate that with them, you will see a change in both strategy and everything. And all this, we can work with them together. My members in those sectors can work with them. But what I'm saying is, this policy gets thrown at you, policy inconsistency, government trying to do business, government trying to buy tractors for us, as if we don't know which type of tractor. Now, I hear saying they're going to buy tractors in one country, which has never supplied any tractor to Nigeria. So it's not the business of government to be in business. The business of government to provide the environment, provide water, provide roads, provide security. The time you spend trying to be a private sector is the one that is causing all the chaos. That is causing the budget deficit. That money could have been reasonably applied in a way that you can make more out of it. So, and again, anytime you import something to Nigeria, you are exporting these services while you are bringing poverty. Because if money does not circulate in an environment, you cannot create wealth. If money does not circulate, anytime your money goes out, you are reducing circulation of money in Nigeria. You're actually importing poverty. So it's very important you give production equipment, and when I say equipment, the enabling environment to people to do more. What is government doing? In fact, if you look at Nigeria, we have one of the highest per capita of minimum return on the number of investment we do in terms of our productive capital in agri. It's very poor. The people are doing subsistence farming. They are illiterate. They are using old equipment. Where are the agriculture extension services they used to do? What capital do these people have access to? So this is a challenge. You are saying they should grow the economy. There's no processing. There's not enough processing. And you know, if you process, you will get more from your non-oil export. It's not double your export. It should be increase more value addition. So government should look at what our neighbors are doing. I don't want to keep mentioning names of other countries. I'm not saying things are okay there completely, but at least there is deliberate efforts to try. They look at Nigeria, they see what we cannot do, they try to do it. That's what they do. Do we look at them and say what they are doing right? So this is Rwanda is a landlocked country. There's a tourist destination. They don't even see water. We have all the beaches, we have everything that can make our ecosystem for tourism. But what do? You don't see any sustained effort on part of government to create that conducive environment. Only very few states you can see are they really trying to catalyze this. So what I'm saying in all this is government can do more. We are not asking them to dash out money. We are not asking them to give up anything. All they need to do is to be responsible, their own duties. They should stay in their lane, work with us, instead of trying to be like us or trying to help us, teach us how to do business. By being a minister does not make you an expert in doing business. So this is the truth. Even if you're a private sector person, the moment you are in government, you are a different person. Regulation is on your side. So you cannot be both doctor and patient. You have to choose one.
But on the flip side, because, under Buhari government, we saw some intervention, programs, including alcohol borrowers, program, which some farmers, particularly up north, took loans. Some farmers took loans and they didn't repay. I'm sure many of them have not repaid. So some also say, and when government also comes with this handout, people just believe, it's our own share of the national cake. They take and do not return.
I've told you, I don't want handouts. My members will not take. What we are saying, enabling environment. We have the formula to bring down the interest rate. We have the formula to bring down, to make Naira more valuable. Let them talk to us more. We don't want handouts because government doesn't have the money. If government gives you money, it's robbing Peter to pay Paul. A man that is already broke, going to owe 13 trillion from this year's budget, add the gbese to last year's gbese. What are you talking about? Government is not in a position to give anybody any money. We are the one deceiving ourselves that Nigeria is rich. We are not rich like that. We are rich in human resources. We are rich in good entrepreneurs. We are rich in private sector-led businesses. But we are not rich in cash as cash. We are borrowing we are collecting money from everybody. Anybody that offers money, I will take. Does that look like a rich person to you? All government needs to do. The anchor borrowers, they know the people they give the money to. Let them go and recover it. They are not my members. So this thing were political influence. That's why we told government, even when you give money to a bank of industry or bank of agri, don't go near them. Give them a strong board. Put it dependent for them. Let our members be in those boards. Let the politicians come and take the money. They can't take it. We will not allow it. They must follow the mandate on which the money should be given to. So this is what I'm saying. When there's political influence, the process which you give out loans is difficult to recover. Because if I knew I got the loan through my connection to one senator or to one minister or to one governor, why should I pay back? So this is a challenge. So the government know who they share the money to. Because all the ones my member borrow, they are paying. AMCON is dealing with them.
Okay,
so we are not part of the problem.
Well, Honorable, let's leave government. Workers in the organized sectors at times feel, shortchanged. The way some of your colleagues will get the foreigners to work for them, and they worship these foreigners. They feel these foreigners are better, expatriates rather are better than Nigerian workers.
There's nothing like that. What I mean by that, I do know the expatriates get more paid. It's natural because of where they are coming from. You can't tie them to your local currency. They won't come. So the terms under which they come is it. We too are Nigerians, so we also have a duty to up our game. If you go to a company like Julius Berger, if you see all the workers that work for them, they are Nigerians. There will be only one white man. He doesn't even do anything. but you see the measurement will be correct, everything will be done to specs. Let that white man not come tomorrow. You will see the chaos in that same place. The same people. It's a discipline issue. And sometimes theft issues. I'm not saying people are criminals. What I'm saying is we need to behave better. We should first go to Cotonou to get people to do your POP. You know that Nigerians cannot do it, but it's discipline. We need to reskill our people, and that's one reason why at Nasima we are working with the German Chamber of Commerce now to do a skill training for our youths where we can send them abroad for a year or two, where they work and see a better environment. We pay them, then they come back and either be agents of those big companies that supply equipment for us here, or start their own businesses. They need to be a complete culture change. I'm not going to excuse my members who they think, oh, this man has money because he has employed. I had to suffer it. But when you put a single expatriate there with 400 workers, you see that everything is moving. I'm not saying Nigerians cannot do it or work with that expatriate. All I'm saying is we too need to work on our ethics. It's an ethic issue. We need to work on our ethics, have more focus, have more discipline. And let's not rely because there should be one supervisor who has a different skill. That's when you decide to work optimize your game. So we too have a duty to do the right thing. So the people are coming is because of the price of the naira. That's why there's a major change or a huge differential between the salaries they are paid and that of the expatriate. So that is the challenge. So we must find a way to encourage our people. Most of our youth have jackpot. So this is a challenge too. Most of our people who have the skills have left. So what do? You have to run the machines. So on the banks, we are having major challenge up to recently because all the IT guys have gone to Canada. I know some that they couldn't, even the guys are working for Canada for them. That's how bad it is. So we need to find a way to retain talent. Government must provide incentives, especially for our youths, to be able to have access to a reasonable price loan for them. In Nigeria, if a young person want to buy a car, at my level, I can pay any amount. But a youth trying to buy in the same market with me, where do you want to get 100% the money?
Well, others also complain about poor working conditions.
No, I'm not saying there are no challenges. But we all need to talk to ourselves and work together. Where it is identified, we as a membership organization will get our members, will resolve it, and ensure they do the right thing. But everybody cannot be born again or be do everything right. But we are working on ourselves. Nobody come here has problem. We too have. But what I'm saying is we need to continue to talk so we can bring down the number of these challenges. Everything is not money. Sometimes an idea can save a country. So this is what I'm saying. I'm not saying I know more than government. In fact, the government sets the pace. All we are saying is, since we have said this is the pace for this year, can we work together so that we can achieve your purpose? Well, because if this private sector prospers, the government to collect more taxes. It's a win-win situation. They have nothing to lose, and we too are happy. Government made mistake, we lose more. That's the truth.
Well, that's quite profound. Our time is fast spent, but I know you're handing over in a few months now.
June.
In June. And I asked you, before we came in, that will you be seeking another time? You said no. So what else for Dele, Kelvin, Oye? After leaving,
after Nasima and the organized private sector, I will go back to I'll rest for some time. I go back to my business, which has been suffering the last 2 years. Because it's not easy. It's almost like a day-to-day affair because we have huge challenges. But I intend to rest more and go back to my business. I'm involved in several businesses and also as a legal practitioner too. So I intend to go back to my business and continue to contribute my quota. But I also be talking and pointing out some of the challenges I observe when I observe, and also be advising. There are several companies approaching us now to be on their board, but I've not taken any offer because I don't want to do it while I'm here. I want to do it after so I can actually know that it's a genuine offer, not just an offer to the office. So I've not considered any of those, but I have enough of mine actually.
And when you became the NASIMA president, the OPSN president, you had targets, goals. Did you achieve everything?
I think I've done over. From my organization, when we talk, we walk the talk. When I entered, we were having deficit, but now I'm declaring surplus. We have surplus as an organization. So whatever we are saying to government, we are practicing it in NASIMA. We are declared surplus. Even our council meeting today, we have surplus. fast surplus than we ever imagined the organization have not had in about almost 30 years. Achieve surplus. So this is how it will be. Whatever we are telling government, we are living by it. So we want government to take some of these ideas. There's no use spending money you don't have. That is where our government has behaved or is behaving. If we can reduce the cost of governance in Nigeria, that in itself can cut off the deficit. All these privileges, all these perks, let it go. Because of us, let us all be involved in the austerity. After the private sector has been the most flogged, all the gains of the oil, this thing, went to the public sector. Where the states and the subnational were getting increased allocation. We in the private sector, the CBN were increasing the MPRA as if we had the problem. The problem was in the public sector, not the private sector. And now that money has finished. Show me what they did with it. You can't say anything. What they were doing, states that could not pay salary, they started building airport. That's what happened. They wasted most of the money.
Yeah, but at least states are paying salaries now.
No, but some of them are not able to pay the minimum
some
wage.
states were almost
Go and look at
bankrupt.
compliance. Go and
Some
look at the
states were
compliance.
almost
Even
bankrupt
what
with
did they
previous
do
governments.
with the money, with the increased money? They didn't continue to borrow. They are the one borrowing. They crowd us out of the market. They still borrowing, issuing bond at 21%. So why would the bank talk to me if they can get bond at 21%? They use the same bond again to go and borrow. That means they're doing 40% for them. So what I'm saying in all this is, it is the public sector overspending that is causing the entire macroeconomic effect that is affecting the price of naira, that is affecting the price of gas, that is affecting the price of electricity. If the government spend the money it can earn, the entire ecosystem will change because everybody will see there is physical discipline. That's what we're asking.
I think that's the word, the fiscal discipline. And this cutting the cost of governance. I mean, Nigerians have been clamoring for it for ages, but I don't know. It seems it's missing. And it's left to be seen the government that really cuts the cost of governance.
If they were even buying from local factories, it will increase money in our circulation. When you import, you are exporting a wealth and bringing in poverty.
Well, food for thoughts there.
When you import,
Yeah.
So you must find a way to grow our local industries. And I can tell you, we as private sector, if we are challenged, this deficit, we can remove it in 1 year.
Yeah, and interestingly, many Nigerians prefer imported goods or imported products to locally manufactured ones.
I don't know
because at times too, the locally manufactured, the locally manufactured ones
have changed everybody. Don't you see me? I'm wearing local dress now. So it has changed us.
I know, but I'm not sure. Is this really made in Nigeria? I'm talking about the fabric.
I have to ask my tailor.
Yeah, you have to ask your tailor.
Is the one that provided
I'm sure this is imported.
I don't know. I didn't import it.
It's not Adire.
I've been wearing Adire all day. I wore it in the last 2 days.
Okay, and even Adire, there's one made in China. So
let me be honest with you. The problem of Nigeria is not about the shirt or trouser you wear. It's the efficient allocation of resources. There's too much waste at the public sector level. If they cut down their waste, look at how much. How can you spend a quarter of your budget to pay salary? Which salary? And it's not a productive sector. We have more MDAs, all the taxation departments, than anywhere in the world. And each of them, they check up our members. They are regulating. It's over-regulation that is killing the business. You have too many of them.
This waste is not peculiar to government alone. I mean, some manufacturers do. Some of our members do.
So if I want to spend my money, it's called waste. If I want to spend I told you I made a success and I have a surplus in my association. So if I want to spend it, you call it waste.
Yeah, when some of them hold end of the year party, they call Burna Boy, they call the video, they pay so much.
We are increasing another industry. You said earlier, you made mention about hotels and people going to nightclubs and everything. Mm-hmm. That is part of production. The man providing those services is paying tax. Can you compare that with a governor that they said imported how many jeeps, 66 jeeps?
But 70%.
Where I'm going now, that is that's public money.
Yeah.
The money spent is private money.
I know, but 90% of the drinks, are imported. Unlike when you see the core manufacturers. That's why I feel many people are going to hospitality business at the expense of. You did talk about production. So the man running a nightclub, everything is almost imported.
That's what you think.
So I mean, that's what I know.
You don't have the data.
No, I have the data.
But
I have the data. The drinks, the beer, the liquor, they are imported.
What we are discussing here is not about somebody who has money. He's under the control, he has the prerogative to buy from anywhere he wants to buy. I'm not saying the person should, because of that, start importing. I would be more interested if I'm happy if the person buy locally produced goods to increase circulation of money in Nigeria. But that situation is completely different for somebody who's a public officer. Instead of going to Innocent or even the motor vehicle company in Ogun State here, he prefers to bring Lexus with our public money. He borrowed money. Look at what is happening in the oil sector. The IPNA is telling you that they prefer to import than to patronize Dangote. In a disciplined society, that should not happen. How can a man that want to buy Rolls Royce pay the same amount for Naira, for dollar?
But the market has been deregulated.
No, listen.
So Dangote do your business, we too, we can do our business.
Don't get it wrong. We are talking about increasing production. We've already agreed that when you import, you are bringing poverty and exporting wealth. But if there is a local substitution, how can a government be? Look at recently now, NUPROC was saying, that the people that they give the local people that are producing oil locally, that they are going to withdraw their license because they are refusing to sell to the local refineries. They prefer to sell abroad. And should that kind of, it should be even mentioned in the news. You withdraw it. I want to hear that you have withdrawn the license because they didn't comply.
Well,
so this is what I'm saying is local production is wealth creation. Then when you go and import, especially with borrowed money, you are increasing our misery.
Well, interestingly, Dangote is thriving, particularly the refinery. Is not only producing locally, he's also exporting. But what he needs to do is definitely what he's doing: bring down the price. Then
the crude agreement they have with him, the government is not keeping to it.
Well,
that's why the man is importing only crude. And it's still selling to you at Naira. So government needs to encourage the private sector. No, encouragement is not handout. They provide an enabling environment.
Okay, I think that's a fine place to leave it. Many thanks for coming, President and the Grand Association of Chambers of Commerce, Industry, Mines and Agriculture, and also the President of the Organized Private Sector of Nigeria, Honorable Dele Kelvin Oye. It's nice having you on the show.
Thank you very much.
Honorable.
Thank you.
So that's the show today. Till next week, I'll bring to you viewing pleasure another eminent personality. I say to you, stay safe and stay out of trouble. Bye for now.